Hi guys, on this show we're looking at Durain, Taper, Raimi, Tilly, Baker, Sandweiss and Campbell. We're looking at 1981's The Evil Dead.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of 100 Things We Learned from Film. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Fake Shemp.
And I'm the other guy, and I'm as happy as a deadite, brother mucker.
Dead right on! Dead right on! How are you, my deadite pal?
I'm alright, buddy. How are you? This winter's... Well, feels like winter's... It's winter's...
Mate, Storm fucking...
Oh,
twat
Debbie?
face or something.
Aye, Big D.
Storm Debbie. Debbie does the blow.
David does destroy.
Oh, we're getting sacked. I don't know who off. Yeah, it's good. It's cold. It's dark. It's winter. So what better thing to do than hire a cabin by the woods, in the woods, next to some fucking water? I don't know. What are we talking about this week, John?
We're looking at The Evil Dead.
The Evil
Dead.
The evilest of deads.
Nah.
Yeah, 1981. John, this one was one, for those that haven't been paying attention, that we had as part of our Halloween vote for the patrons.
Yep.
And we watched it because you watched it by mistake instead of Zombieland.
Yes.
So we when we got let down by a guest this week, we've decided to do this. We've also found out that the guest can only do dates that we cannot do. So we will eventually get round to probably having this chat on. I don't know. I don't even know him. He might be great. He might be dog shit. Who knows? If he is dog shit, he'll fit in here, won't he? So, yeah, of course, we're the podcast. Tries to learn 100 things from every episode. John's watched it, I've watched it. We're going to go through all the things. If you like what we do, you can give us a quid. Dead easy. Just go to patreon.com/100 things or 100 things we learned from film.co.uk. Give us a quid. We will shout you at every episode and we will give you an opportunity for vote for a film every month. Mm-hmm. John, 1981. What kind of year was that for movies?
Well, it was a kind of year that we've been to already. We went back in time to this date or this year. Gregory's Girl, big man. Gregory's Girl.
Oh, wow. It was Gregory's Girl 1981.
Yeah, 1981.
Bella.
Bella.
Bella, and indeed, Bella.
But what else did we have? We had The Monster Club. I don't think you're a fan, were you?
No, that's the one I like. That's the one with Peter Cushing, where there's the three little vignettes.
Oh,
You're mixing it with Monster Squad.
That's the one. That's it.
Yeah, Wolfman's got nerds. Shut your face, you little shit kid.
Really
I do hate shit kids. Yeah.
Halloween 2.
Oh yeah, that's my favourite Halloween. You know.
Is it?
It is. I love Halloween 2. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about that kid getting hit by the police car.
I really laughed. Outland, I believe, with Sean Connery.
Oh, I am in space. I'm the space sheriff in space.
What we've got? Scanners. Oh,
Scanners is good.
And End on the Howling, which I need to watch
again. Yeah, I need to watch The Howling again.
I've not seen it in a while. So
what a year for films. What the fuck are we doing any other year for?
We'll just stick with this.
We should just be doing 1981.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right, The Evil Dead. John, any relationship with this film before you mistakenly watched it twice?
It was probably the first time I'd watched the horror and it blew my mind because it was so bad. But, in its defence, the reboot or remake was 10 times better, but this one's still stuck in my head.
Yeah, this has pushed me on to watch the rest, I think, again, because I remember liking this. But I remember loving the second one because there's nothing better than a bit of a kind of like a bit of an eye fucking pokery, laughy kind of jokey version of Three Stooges kind of thing.
Yeah, but a stop motion as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and that all kind of starts here, doesn't it? This is it's great. It was great fun. I had a good time. Shall we begin?
Shall we? Yes, we shall.
Great.
Movie.
Okay, we open with this, with a picture of Renaissance Pictures. Did you know anything about Renaissance Pictures, John?
No, I tried to look them up, but they keep moving, so I couldn't pinpoint the one that we were looking for.
Okay. Well, luckily for you, I found out a little bit. Renaissance Pictures is Sam Raimi and Robert Tappert's company. They produced all the Evil Deads, all of the Darkmans, previous episode, and Time Cop.
What?
Yeah, Time Cop.
With John Claude? No, I've really enjoyed
one and
that.
the same, brother.
Love that. It was Joe Silver as well in that, I'm sure.
Oh, God. We've had a few Joel Silvers, haven't we, recently?
We have indeed.
Okay. So I liked that. I got a kick out of the DVD version that I ended up watching this in standard def DVD.
What?
Man, what a load of dog shit that was. Huh? Yeah.
Kinso Telly?
Yeah. Well, I found it I couldn't find it anywhere. It's not streaming anywhere. And I didn't really want to have to pay for a film I've seen about 100 times. And then I found it on the shelf in a box set of 3 films.
Oh.
Yeah, mine came up as THX Sound. You know, the
Minions.
yeah. That sound is called the deep note, John. Not to be confused with
Debbie Does Dallas Deep Note.
Well, I was going to say the brown note, but yes, okay. I'll let you have that one too. From THX's website, after releasing Star Wars Episode 4, The Empire Strikes Back, George Lucas embarked on it. 4? It's Episode 5. What's he say, Episode 4? Have I written that wrong, or have I copied and pasted that? Oh, man, I hope THX website is wrong. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, George Lucas embarked on a new project. He hired audio scientist, it's not a thing, Tomlinson Holman, 2 surnames, and together they found that although there had been a significant improvement in how sound was recorded and played back on film, there was no control over what happened on the set or in the cinema itself. In response, they set up the state-of-the-art audio mixing rooms that eventually became Skywalker Sound.
Ooh.
Purchased by Razer in 2016. Yes, John, those gaming mouse pricks.
Oh, really? Razer?
Razer, the gaming mouse people, now own THX. On their website, you can either buy audio stuff or a fucking gaming laptop.
It's one or the other.
Indeed. There's an opening zoom kind of across a pond, and I listened to a very small amount of the audio commentary on the DVD.
Yeah.
And Bruce Campbell said this was him pushing Sam Raimi in an inflatable raft across the pond, which I thought, yeah, go on, I'll let you have that, lads.
Get in there.
Anything to be cheap.
Well, he done a lot in this. I was looking at all the stuff he actually done in the film. It's mind-blowing.
This might actually be one of those episodes where we cover more of what happened in the film rather than just general shit.
Yeah, true.
There's a car full of kids singing this song that isn't a real song, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I looked this up. The lyrics are, I sent you 20 letters from Paris last year. Well, you've been gone for 6 months and I've got the fear. If I knew where you were, then I would surely inform you. It's not a real song. It's nothing. The only internet hit that I could find was a clip of this song.
And that was
direct from the DVD rip.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's absolutely... So I guess at least they didn't have to pay for the...
Anybody for the
rights.
Yeah,
which
well,
again...
Makes sense.
Kids in it.
And it was a 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royal.
John, it is the 1973 Delta 88 Oldsmobile, right, which we have seen in what?
Everything. So, Darkman.
It was in the Darkman, yeah.
Well, I've seen it in Drag Me to Hell, but I didn't know it was in Oz the Great and Powerful.
Is it really?
Yeah, so it's pretty much of Raimi's stuff.
Very good.
His dad's motor.
Yeah. It's in The Quick and the Dead. Apparently, they removed the body from the chassis and used the chassis as a wagon in The Quick and the Dead.
No friggin' way.
Yeah, how good is that?
It was in Drag Me to Hell as well, and The Gift.
Oh, yeah. Oh, The Gift's pretty good. I watched The Gift semi-recently. Rachel hates Drag Me to Hell, but I really enjoyed it.
It's quite funny. If you take it from
good,
it's quite funny.
It's, would you like to live deliciously? Anything with a goat.
Oh, it's just that horrible bit where she's trying to bite her with her teeth in. She's biting the butt. Whoa!
Gummy.
Gummy.
One of the kids is Scott, who's driving. He asks Ash where they are. And he says, oh, well, according to this map, we've just crossed into Tennessee. This map looks like something out of a Happy Meal.
It's
not a map, is it? It's just like a cartoon.
He's hand-drawn somewhere, isn't it?
It's like something that you get from a Road Stop cafe. As they turn a corner, Scott loses control of the car because it seems to want to drive itself. And he nearly hits this massive red Ford truck.
Ooh, like a Tesla?
But doesn't hit the truck. He complains nothing works except the horn. And when he honks the horn, there's these two rednecks at the side of the road waving at him.
Away.
And he screams, "I wasn't honking at you." And I was like, "You leave Dale and Tucker alone."
Exactly. It's that's Raimi and is it Teppert as well? That's
was it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Oh,
there
that's great. That's fantastic.
Another fact down.
That wagon, by the way, was a 1965 Ford F-Series. And I managed to find one online for $37,500. Which is pretty fucking expensive for a car. It's like 50 years old.
It really is. Jesus Christ.
They got a really cheap deal on this cabin. And we find out why. Because they've got to cross the fucking bridge from the film Sorcerer to get to it.
Get to it. Oh, God.
Jesus Christ. They drive down this road that isn't a road. They're basically driving over grass to the cabin. And you can see why it's been such a bargain. Now, this road that wasn't a road, John, I'm pretty sure this was filmed in Stirlingshire. Because I crossed these roads to get to your wedding.
Yeah, it looks like pretty much does, doesn't it?
Absolutely disgusting, pointless thing.
So the cabin itself is a cabin in Morristown in Tennessee.
Yeah.
We know running water.
Right, yeah. Morristown, Tennessee, John, is known as Tennessee's disc golf capital.
What?
Yeah, and from a bit of Googling, it's because they have two disc golf courses.
What the hell is that, disc?
It's where you throw. It's like frisbee, but on a golf course.
I was going to say that. Oh, really? I thought it was like disc. As in, remember the is it Amiga game where you used to have to throw it and get behind the guy and knock his panel off? That was quite cool.
Nope.
Never played disc.
No,
What's
I don't
up
think I did.
You? What's up with you?
What is up with me, indeed? No, but the only reason I know what disc golf is there was a disc golf thing when you got the PlayStation with the Move controllers for the first time. The sport thing had a throw in the disc golf thing.
Oh,
it's the only time I've ever played that. Yeah. I assume it's some sort of fucking American thing that we don't get. Famous people from Morristown, Tennessee. Davy Crockett. You know him. He's the bloke from the Squeeze song, Call for Cats. Reference for nobody. And the writer Jane Wagner, who is Lily Tomlin's wife.
Oh, really? Oh, man. Small world. I'm just watching Grace and Frankie now. So
Again? Are you watching that? How many times have you watched that series?
Well, the series didn't end for us.
Oh, right, okay.
The fun never stopped.
The fun film programs about old people never stops.
Makes me feel young.
There's this swing seat banging in the wind until Scott finds the keys and it just stops. It's great. It's really good. Inside, it's like a fucking murder house, by the way.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Loads of animals on the wall, as well as a work shed full of tools and animal schools. That night, the sun sets. Now, I was really bad at this at the start. I couldn't figure out who was who of the three women, and I'm really sorry. I hope this isn't me just being a man, but they're not really characters.
No.
That's the problem.
Not at all.
The only reason I got Scott was because I wrote a couple of what I thought was very funny things. Is this Cheryl? This one's Cheryl, I think, doing the drawing. Ash's sister?
Is it?
Question mark. Linda, Ash's sister. Anyway, she's drawing the clock with the pendulum ticking away until it just stops. And she hears these creepy voices whispering. And she gets taken over against her will, hasn't she? And she's kind of doing that. You know that thing that they do in films where they do kind of like ghost drawing.
Yes, and it takes over, gets taken over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So she's kind of doing that, which I was like, okay, yeah, I've got that. It did make me think of that bit out of The Changeling. You know, with George C. Scott, where he moves into the house and he's in England, and the teacher's like, "How did you die, Joseph?" You know that. That's what made me think. Again, I'm the only person that's watched The Changeling in about 30 years. Pendulum, John. A pendulum is a device made from a weight suspended from a pivot so that it can swing freely. When a pendulum is displaced sideways from its resting equilibrium position, previous episode, it's subject to a restoring force due to gravity that will accelerate it back towards the equilibrium position.
Right.
Nah, John, me neither.
Where did you find out, Fee? TikTok?
Fucking hell.
Yeah, you love it.
I do. Yeah, I do. I like it a lot.
God, I'm funny.
Yeah, that's why I podcast with you. Certainly not for your fucking looks.
Or whatever.
She roughly draws a book, by the way, doesn't she? Like a book with a face.
Yeah.
In the background, a cellar trapdoor rattles with some chains. At dinner, Ash is making this toast, and the trapdoor flies open. Cheryl suggests it could just be some animal. What?
No.
What kind of animals live in basements? Which led me to wonder, John, what kind of animals do live in basements?
Right.
The Indiana Foundation Services, you want to watch your foundations in Indiana, people, suggests it could be rats, mice, squirrels, or chipmunks, or even snakes, which will be attracted to your boiler's heat. Yeah, fuck that, mate. Last thing I want is to be John Voight anaconded while I'm getting the fucking Christmas tree out the basement.
Exactly, I'm hanging a wash in it. No chance.
Scott heads down, and after a while, Ash shouts after him, "Scotty, you see anything down there?" "Scotty!" There's no reply, so I assume Scotty don't.
Scotty, don't.
Scotty don't. Ash heads down to the cellar, which is just as ruined as the rest of the building. It's fucking massive as well, by the way.
Yeah. But apparently there was no basement in the actual property itself, so that was all shot.
I am not surprised by that.
Sam Raimi's somewhere in his house or somewhere.
All right, okay, good. There's this fantastic 360 pan, by the way.
Well, it's good,
that goes from Ash's face all the way around and then back to him. And I was like, that's good.
Really good.
That's some good shooting, yeah. Mm-hmm. Ash investigates a noise behind a door. It's another cavernous room full of junk. Scotty jumps out. He's found some shotgun shells with the federal branding. And there's a poster for the Hills of Ice.
I've seen that, yeah. A written poster with Hills.
Yeah. The Hills Have Ice film, John, 1977, written and directed by our good friend Wes Craven.
Whoop.
Absolutely. Made $25 million off of a budget of under $700,000.
Oh man, that's good.
And I loved this. Based on the story of Alexander Sawney Bean, who's a legendary figure said to have been the head of a 45-member clan in Scotland in the 16th century.
There you go.
It murdered and cannibalised over 1,000 people in 25 years. According to the legend, Bean, Mr., and his clan members were eventually caught by a search party sent by King James and executed for their heinous crimes.
Jesus.
The pair produced 6 daughters, 8 sons, 14 granddaughters, and 18 grandsons. The grandchildren were said to be products of incest between their children. But then it was Ayrshire, so you'd expect nothing less.
True, keep it in the family.
Sorry to any of our listeners in Ayrshire, but I'm pretty sure we don't have any. Federal shotgun shells, John. Still a brand, Federal. 25 12-gauge 8-shot sized. Yep. Federal brand shotgun shells, $12.99. According to their website, they can be used for target shooting or personal defence.
As always.
See, when I first read that, I felt absolutely fucking sick. Why do you need a shotgun for self-defence?
Bears.
Perhaps. It's been more than 3 years of learning about guns, listeners, and I'm fucking delighted to say I still don't have a single desire to handle, own, or use a fucking gun.
No.
I'm very proud of that, because I think about 4 episodes in, I was certain that I was going to end up radicalised.
You were going to buy a gun?
Certain. I was going to buy all the guns.
I was going to get a shooting range in America.
Blammo. Ash finds a book bound in human skin. Not that unnatural, really. And Scott picks up a reel-to-reel tape recorder and a sacrificial dagger.
Yep.
Upstairs, the gang play the tape. It details a professor that found the Book of the Dead, which is the book Ash has got, and the tape continues to play, and outside the earth cracks open to reveal a red light, and Cheryl freaks out and runs out the room, just as a tree branch smashes through the window.
Yep. Poltergeist all over again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of the most curious items, John, in the Bristol Archives collection is one of the UK's few surviving examples of a book bound in human skin.
Nice.
In 1821, John Horwood, an 18-year-old from Hanham near Bristol, was the first person publicly executed at Bristol's new jail. He'd been convicted of murder of Eliza Balsam, an older girl with whom he'd been infatuated and threatened to kill. Eliza died following a head injury after Horwood threw a stone at her while she was out walking. After his execution, Horwood's corpse was dissected by surgeon Richard Smith during a public lecture at Bristol Royal Infirmary. Smith had part of Horwood's skin tanned to bind a collection of papers about the murder, trial and execution, and the subsequent dissection of Horwood's body. The dark brown front cover of the book was embossed with skulls and crossbones with the words Curtis Vera Jonas Horwood, the actual skin of John Horwood, added in gilt letters. The volume has been held in many years at Bristol Archives, although over time it's become too fragile to be handled, but you can see the book on display at the Museum M Shed.
Jesus, Big Men's Shed.
Kind of a bit, yeah, absolutely. How good is that?
I know. Well, I was looking up the necro to see if it was real, but obviously it isn't. But I didn't realise somebody had actually bound a book in skin. Nice.
Well, apparently there's lots of examples of them around the world, but of course these are things you really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Anymore. This tape player, by the way, Panasonic Solid State RQ706S.
Yeah.
Found one on eBay for £307.
And it was Bruce Campbell's dad's.
Oh, right. Oh, fantastic. Okay.
It says.
Ash, and is it Linda this?
See, this is confusing because I'm sure Linda's a love interest in the second one. This.
Yeah, they do, it does. Well, it is what it is. They're talking. He gives her a present. What was this present, by the way?
It was a looking glass.
I've written a monocle here.
I'm sure it's in the second one as well, isn't it? But I'm sure it's like a wee looking glass.
Yeah, I mean, who is he? Jacob Rees-Mogg? Do you think he's brought his nanny with him and she's out in the fucking woodshed? We did monocles early on the run, but I couldn't find anything. So I did you can buy a monocle for $34.99 from the brilliantly named monoclemadness.co.uk.
There you go. It does what it says in the tin.
Exactly right. Outside there's a first-person camera shot, in and out the windows, and the voiceover, "Join us." Cheryl's all of a sudden brave after being the least brave person in the cabin earlier on.
Right.
She heads out into the woods, only to get attacked by a tree. Now, I remember this still being pretty grim, and it was that grim that I fast-forwarded through it the second time.
Oh, really?
I remember not liking the kind of the tree attack scene, let's call it. But yeah, it was difficult to watch. There is some really good prop and stop motion work here.
Oh yeah.
And let's be honest, she really does get wood. But other than that, it's. She comes running back. She escapes. Ash drags her into the cabin. Did something in the woods do this to you? It was the woods themselves, which is quite a good line. Ash agrees to take her into town for the night, but the car won't start. She starts screaming, "I know the car won't start. It won't let us leave." And at that very moment,
car starts.
Yeah, absolutely. They make it as far as the bridge, which is now a mangled mess.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked for bridges that had been washed away, by the way. Apparently, there's a mid-18th century pulley bridge in Cumbria, which was completed in 1764, but was washed away by floodwater in December 2015. So it lasted all that time and just got washed away.
Yeah, it's it was one that got that got done by fucking hell, I forgot the name of the storm, but it was the one that flooded Carla.
Right.
Yeah, not nice at all. There's this sign on there, by the way, that says 9 tons, doesn't it? It says it says nothing over 9 tons. Things that weigh roughly 9 tons: an African elephant, and Big Ben, the bell out of the Houses of Parliament clock, weighs roughly about 11 tons. So I was looking for roughly 9 tons. So I assume at some point someone's tried to get Big Ben over this, and it's been too heavy. It's just collapsed.
Always happens.
Cheryl fights against Ash, screaming that it won't let them leave. And I love the way this is lit, by the way, by the headlamps. There's just a big circle of the headlamps lit. It looks really good. Back at the cabin, Linda and Shelley are doing the Guess This Cards thing. And you know what it reminded me of?
Ghostbusters?
Yeah. And you can keep your $5. Okay, that's 3 down. We've only got 75 to go. Brilliant. Fantastic.
That's so good.
So much so that night we watched Ghostbusters again.
Oh really?
Which has aged amazingly. So there's a couple of lines that aren't great. It's aged phenomenally. Yeah, it's so good. She's rubbish, but Cheryl in the distance is brilliant because she's a deadite.
Yeah, just happens all of a sudden. Deadite
doesn't it?
bastards.
She turns around and levitates, and this horrible monster makeup face. You have woken us from our slumber. You will die. Says a little bit like, inconceivable! It's Wallace Shawn. Cheryl falls to the floor and Ash goes to check on her. She grabs a pencil, jumps up and gets a bit stabby, and Linda gets it in the ankle.
Oh, that does look
bastard.
good, but it's bad.
It does look good, yeah. It was quite blatantly just polystyrene or something.
Aye, but still.
Stuff oozing out of it. Scott kicks her into the basement and chains it shut. As they're sat by the fire, they see Cheryl's POV from the trapdoor for the whole scene, and she's kind of looking like left to right, and we see that. That's really good. I liked that. One of the characters is like, her eyes. What the hell happened to her eyes? It's quite good delivery. Outside, we get the POV shot again, which, by the way, that POV shot was the first thing I learned at college.
Oh, is it?
How to do. Yeah, absolutely. The first thing we learned to do, kind of like walking a dog shot.
Aye.
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe we should.
Why don't we make a film? Why don't we go and
Jesus Christ.
Get an Airbnb somewhere in the middle of nowhere?
Mate, I have written a very, very basic short film. No one's going to make that. No one's going. In fact, if only we knew a filmmaker from Glasgow, Andy.
Oh.
If only McEwan would have one look at that for us. We'll talk to McEwan and see what he says when he reads the script. So it comes through the window at Shelley. When Scott heads to take a look, there's nothing there but a broken window. He checks in the wardrobe, nothing. In the bathroom, he's attacked by deadite Shelley, who scratches his face. He throws her onto the fire, but ends up pulling her off as she burns. Thank you. I don't know what I would have done had I remained on that fire, burning my pretty little flesh. What? They tussle with deadite Shelley, grabbing the sacrificial dagger, stabbing her with it, and she dies in a pool of blood. And spunk? Question mark.
Aye, milk and spunk. It's not right, is it? Like, where's all that milk?
A little bit like Ash from Alien.
Oh God, aye.
Absolutely covered it. Yeah. The other Ash. Yeah. As Scott goes to check on the corpse, she jumps back up. So Scott grabs the axe and dismembers her. All the bits keep quaking, which I really got a kind of a big kick out of. I was well into that. Axes, John. Hand axes, which an axe of metal without a handle, so just a rudimentary bit of metal, sharpened metal, date back to what are known as later Alderwan times, which is prehistory, and as early as 1.6 on the Mayan calendar. So I assume that's minus 1.6 million years. I don't know. Hafted axes, that's axes with a wooden handle, date back to the Mesolithic period, which is approximately 6000 BC.
Right.
Which, John, of course, is a time that you look back fondly on.
Yeah, I know. Before condoms.
Jesus. Must you give Amazon your money? You can. £35.67 for a felling axe with a hickory shaft.
Oh, I love a hickory shaft. It makes it rings like a bell, big man. Rings like a bell.
Shut your mouth. But I'm talking about hickory shaft. Then we can chop it. I'm sure we've got 10 minutes left to film.
Pretty much, aye.
At this point. Ash and Scott bury the body parts and put up a crude cross. Scott suggests there has to be another way beside the bridge. He doesn't care about Linda not being able to walk. He just cares about himself. Back in the bedroom, Ash looks at Linda's injury, which becomes a spiderweb of blood, and she jumps up, cackling. Ash runs out. Scotty falls into the cabin, all slashed up. So we assume he's been out and tried to get the trees have got him.
Trees are trying to have their way with him.
Ash sits Scotty down under this, by the way, Billy Big Mouth Bass on the wall.
Oh,
wasn't it? That's what it looked like, wasn't
it?
He asks Scott if there's a way out without the bridge. But Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. He explains that the trees are alive.
Mm-hmm.
John.
Yes.
Billy Big Mouth Bass.
Yep.
Yeah, you remember those?
Aye.
The first one was sold in January 1999 by Gemi. Gemmy, John.
Gimme,
not
gimme,
gammy.
gimme
Not
a
gammy. Not gammy, you bass. Sings 2 songs. Take Me to the River, which is an Al Green song from 1974. Cover John by Brian Ferry, The Talking Heads and Courtney Love, and ranked 117th in Rolling Stone's Greatest Songs of All Time, in spite of the fact that I've only ever heard it sung by a plastic animatronic fish.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Right, true, so true. So true.
You didn't think I was going to get any songs in this, did you?
No. Well, that's the thing. I was like, he's not going to get it. Even the song at the beginning I couldn't find, so
yeah.
Well done, you.
It also sings, John, Don't Worry, Be Happy by Bobby McFerrin from 1988.
That's the one I remember.
He won the Grammy for Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best Male Pop Performance, and Most Annoying Song in 1989. It did win all the others, but not that last one. I made that one up. Indian mystic Meher Baba used the expression, Don't Worry, Be Happy, and the expression was printed on inspirational cards and posters during the 60s. In 1988, McFerrin noticed a similar poster and wrote the song that was included on the soundtrack of the movie Cocktail. It became a huge hit the following year. It made, John, number 5 in Norway. Yes, way. Number 4 in fucking prawn Satellica chart. Number 3 where, John?
The Netherlands.
You're right, yeah. Number 2 in the Stupid Sexy Flanders Ultra Pop chart. And number 1, John, in West Germany, Iceland and Canada, eh?
Hey.
The song was used in George H.W. Bush's 1988 US presidential election. Fucking hell.
Nice. Got Bush.
Not anymore, he ain't.
No.
As his 1988 official presidential campaign song. However, it was used without Bobby McFerrin's permission or endorsement. In reaction, McFerrin, a Democrat, good lad, publicly protested that particular use of the song, including stating he was going to vote against Bush.
Of course he was.
Which I believe D. Ream also did with Things Can Only Get Better and Tonty Blair.
Oh.
Look at that, a couple of songs, just bumping the numbers up, John.
I know, just got to get them in there.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Linda and Cheryl Deadites keep laughing. Ash starts beating her about a little bit, which I wasn't that into. He continues and picks up the shotgun and is about to blow her away. Mm-hmm. He sees her as his Cheryl, sobbing and begging for help. Yeah. He holds her, and then Linda's voice is back to normal, pleading for him to open the chains and let her out the basement. When he looks, a hand flies up through the floorboards and grabs him by the throat. He manages to get away from her, but Cheryl's back to being a deadite, taunting him. I love this makeup, by the way. She looks and sounds like Betty Davis in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I'm expected to sending a letter to Daddy.
She really does, though. Then she's sitting in that doorway. Like, what is so weird?
Yeah, it is. It is really creepy. It's really creepy. Almost as creepy as Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Ash drags her out and dumps her. Scott dies as Ash is giving him some wine or something. Isn't he? Just have some wine, mate.
Like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Take the pain away.
He's giving them this big going home speech. Cheryl finds her way back in with the dagger and stabs Ash in the arm. Ash manages to push her on the dagger, though, and drags her out once more. This time takes her to the work shed, chaining her up and then getting the chainsaw. He's obviously going to chop her into itty-bitty bits. Yeah. Spots the monocle and can't do it because, obviously he's a conservative.
Exactly.
He sobs and carries her out to bury her. As he's digging, her eyes open and inside Linda's breaking out the basement, which proves, listeners, that perseverance is key.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. After burying Cheryl, Ash sees the monocle on the ground, goes to pick it up, only for it to burst out the ground, carries Mam style.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
And claw at his leg. After no end of fighting, he hits this mannequin made to look up like and then lops her head off, getting drenched from the stump in blood, which is still great. Just pissing blood, isn't it? Heading back to the cabin with a shotgun, he sees the broken cellar door and gets attacked by deadite Linda. He blows her away and heads down to the cellar, seeing this pipe dripping with blood, and he investigates it, and it bursts just fucking red stuff right in his eyes.
Face. Yeah. Nice.
John, of course, you know that this particular film was a video nasty.
Yep.
1982, the BBFC cut 49 seconds of footage to give it a UK X certificate in cinemas. It was added to the list of video nasties due to the fact there were no age ratings on videos at the time. The distributors themselves were taken to Snaresbrook Crown Court, where they successfully argued the film was not obscene, but silly. The Evil Dead was therefore removed from the video nasties list by the Director of Public Prosecutions in December 1985.
Nice.
With that in mind, John, let's see what you know about video nasties with a little quiz.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this one's special because this one is called Nasty or Pasty.
Right, okay.
So you're going to tell me whether a film is a nasty, video nasty, or a pasty, made in Cornwall.
I thought you were going to say past.
No. It's either nasty or pasty. Okay. So, John, let's start with this 5. Let's start with The House by the Cemetery. You're looking at me. I'm giving nothing away. It's an audio medium, mate. Stop it.
Nasty.
It is. It's a Fulci. John. Well done. Island of Death.
Nasty.
It is, John. It's a nasty. Although Peninsula of Death is a pasty. Maybe. I might have made that one up. Bait.
Oof. Pasty.
John, Bait is a pasty. It's a drama about the decline of the fishing industry in Cornwall.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Night of the Bloody Apes.
It's got to be a nasty.
It is a nasty. Although it's much less nasty if you say it in a Cornish accent. Oh, Night of those Bloody Apes. I don't know where that accent's from. It's not a Cornish accent.
That's a Shaun of the Dead accent.
Well done, John. You finally, Straw Dogs, John.
Oh, that's pasty.
John, if you'd have said nasty, you would have also got it. It is a video nasty that was filmed in Cornwall.
I remember that. But so did I get the point?
You got 5, yeah. Well done, 5 points. Let me just add those to the tally. And Greg over there was an extra in Straw Dogs, and Sherry played a cadaver in Prime Suspect.
You still love it, didn't you?
I do. It's been like 127 episodes since we did that, and I am still in love with it. Ash composes himself, loads the gun, and heads upstairs. They manage to make the place look even creepier than ever with this fisheye lens. It's a good shot. And then the shutters on the windows start to flap. Heading to a mirror, Ash puts his hand through it like a reflective water surface.
Yeah, like a Matrix.
It's really good, but you could tell that you could tell it's on a table and he's just put his hand down. But it still looks good. Yeah. It's still smart stuff. The wind starts howling and he shoots out a further window. How there's any windows left in this fucking thing, I have no idea. He takes the monocle out of his pocket and he leans against a door, but not before. Hands fire through to grab him. It's Linda on the other side. And as he gets away from her, Scott sits up as a deadite and lifts Ash by his neck. Ash puts his finger in his eyes, bursting his eyes, which I loved. He spots the Book of the Dead and goes to throw it in the fire, but Scott grabs him and starts eating his legs.
That's so gross.
Linda's battering him on the back with his fire poker, by
yes.
over and over and over. And I felt every single fucking hit of this.
No love.
Ash manages to hook the Necronomicon with the monocle and drag it towards him before throwing it in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
See, John, being upper class has finally done something for the world.
Exactly.
As the book burns, both Deadites die in this brilliant stop-motion plasticine melty thing. It's really good.
It's all right, isn't it? That's good.
Yeah. And there's a super final jump scare after a 20-second of quiet before they erupt into plasticine mess with arms coming out of their backs, which I quite liked. Stop motion, John, can be extremely time consuming. A video shot on a video camera runs at 24 frames per second. Each photo taken for a stop motion project is 1 frame. If each photo takes 30 seconds, creating a 5-minute, 24 frames per second video will take 60 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Worth it. Totally worth it.
Absolutely worth it, John. It just always makes me think of the of the bit out the fast show. And so how exactly do you make this? Well, what we do is we start with this and we move it just a tiny amount, and then we take a photo. And then we move it just a tiny amount, and then we take a photo. And then we have to move this just a tiny amount.
And then take a photo.
Over and over again. Just a tiny amount. Think about it all the time. It's now morning and Ash leaves the cottage to this swelling score. By the way, the clean-up cost on this Airbnb is going to be something else.
Oh, God, aye. Yeah.
Smash windows, broken door. There's no deposit coming back here. We get one final POV shot as the thing heads through the woods, into the cabin, out the front door. I liked how it went through the back door and out the front door, and it blamos Ash.
Yep, and that's it.
And that's it. And it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's still so good, and you're right. It looks like shit in parts, but that's at least you know. It's at least you know it's not CGI.
Well, that's I think I've read somewhere about Stephen King endorsed it, saying the matte moon. So there's a scene where he goes outside and they've painted on the moon. It just adds to the film. Says it's so cheap and nasty looking, it just makes it better. So he loved it. Well,
when they re-released them on DVD on video in the 90s, one of the lads I was at college with got them both. Got this and the second one, and we watched them at college one Friday. We booked out a room and we just put them on and watched them and had a fucking great time with them. But that cover was kind of like you'll remember the cover. It was red with a green deadite on it, and on the back of that, I remember the Stephen King thing was written, like the Stephen King quote of the best horror, the scariest thing you'll see this year or something like that. But then he wasn't a lot of cocaine at the time. So.
Yeah, it was scary back then.
Absolutely. Right, the blood, John, was made a combination of Caro syrup, non-dairy creamer, red food colouring, and one single drop of blue food colouring within which to darken it.
Nice. One single drop.
Yeah. Anything else?
So I looked at the lamps head. They were paraffin lamps.
Oh, right, yeah.
If you want to buy paraffin, you can get 20 litres for £45. And it asked the question, why is it so expensive? And it just replied back just saying, because they can do that. Because I remember back in the day, everybody had paraffin.
Yeah.
For heaters and all that. Well, because they hardly make it, they can pretty much charge what they want now. You can pick up an 8-track player with 30 cartridges on eBay for $69.
Nice.
One of the stipulations that the person that rented out the cabin was that when they put it back the way they found it, which they did, with the only difference being the fire surround. They had to make that,
which they built.
Yeah. 3 ways to expel a demon. Right, so
the power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Two of them make sense, right? So burn sage, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that one. Pray the demon away, right?
Yeah.
But the third one is to make sure the house is well ventilated, because carbon monoxide poisoning causes hallucinations.
That's true. Listeners, please do have carbon monoxide testers in your house.
Oh, yeah. And sage.
Absolutely.
It was the first... Well, so the chainsaw was a Homelight XL12.
Oh, good work.
And I was looking up why deer's heads were a thing. It basically just says each head tells the story of a successful hunt. So it's basically just hunters that want to show everything off, which just sounded absolutely horrible.
You're a successful hunt.
I was going to look up Michigan State, but I think we've already done that on Road Trip, so I left it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it, mate. Pretty much it.
If you want to buy a deer's head online, a roe deer head for £60 on eBay, or a fully grown stag head, £1,200 with £2.87 postage. How does that work?
Oh, God, that's a bit dear.
I assume they'll reattach it to the body and give it a map, some hay, and send it on its way. To get your own one mounted and stuffed, £400 from taxidermyco.uk.
Wow.
Lily Cabin, John, near Pigeon Falls in Tennessee, which I think I sent you the link to. $700 for a week. And it looks like this cabin, like it's not been renovated in 30 years, except with the heart-shaped bathtub.
Heart-shaped bathtub, I thought was absolutely genius.
Or Puck's Glen Lodge on the island of Dunoon, £645 for 5 nights.
Dunoon. Jesus.
Michigan State University, John, you did mention it. Founded in 1855 as the Agricultural College of the State of Michigan. The mascot is Sparty the Spartan, which is the shittest name in the world for a mascot.
It's like Boaty McBoatface.
The Times Educational Supplement ranked MSU 106th in the world, probably behind Greendale Community College and Hogwarts.
Yeah. Yep.
Raimi went here, as did James Caan and Jimmy Hoffa's son. His dad must be really proud, looking up from his grave under Milwaukee County Stadium. Allegedly. I can't remember how many episodes we've done the Jimmy Hoffa thing on. I even did it on an Everything Simpsons. There's no pencil serial killer. I'm not putting that. Stop on. I can have that. And it was originally called Book of the Dead, but couldn't get funding. The distributor Ivan Shapiro, who helped horror filmmaker George Romero find his audience, dismissed it, insisting people would think they'd have to read. Among alternative titles suggested were Blood Flood, Death of the Dead, and The Evil Dead, which Bruce Campbell called poor, but the least worst of the bunch.
That's brilliant.
It's pretty good. I was into that. Final thing, Palace Pictures Distributing were the distribution arm in the UK. Nick Powell and Steve Woolley, after a stint with Virgin Records, ended up setting up their own house and distributing this in the company of Wolves, The Crying Game, and Mona Lisa.
The Crying Game. Whoa, yeah. Remember that?
The Crying Game's a great film.
That's great. But I just remembered one. Apparently, Bruce Campbell had to sell his home to help finance finishing the film.
Nice. Bruce Campbell's debut was Cop on a Bicycle in Sam Raimi's debut feature. It's murder! ! And after Evil Dead 2, Bruce worked as a security guard at Anheuser-Busch Brewing Company until 1989, when he started to get more regular film work, and he jacked it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he was in Maniac Cop as well, wasn't he?
Which we've recently bought on Blu-ray, and I've got downstairs. It's an Arrow one. I haven't seen it in years. We'll maybe watch that this weekend.
Never, but
right, that's all I've got, John. What number have you got?
81.
Higher.
89.
Higher.
97.
Oh, 95.
Oh,
95.
Mate, I'm so surprised.
Yeah, it's astonishing how we managed to get that many. It helped that you got 5 in the quiz. Well done, yeah.
Yeah, I know my pasty.
Good work, that man. Good work, that man. You deserve a steak slice.
Thank you.
Yep. So, listeners, if you enjoyed that, you can give us £1 a month, and we will shout you out like these lovely people coming up. Go to patreon.com/100 things, or go to 100 things we learned from film. That's 100 things we learned from film.co.uk, and click the link for Patreon, or follow us on all our socials. Lovely people that give us cash. We will now shout you out. Apologies to the podcasters, because I am miles behind on my podcast listening this past couple of weeks, because just, life doesn't find a way, I guess. So I'm still miles behind. So I won't be shouting out your particular podcast and what you are doing unless I'm on it. Lovely people that are paying for nothing. They're getting this quality banter. Exactly. Rachel, Nigel, Dale, Ali, Megan, Phil, Ian, Emily, Gav, Jen and James. Podcast people, Gadget, Biggie and Stig at Modern Escapism. Josh and Amanda, super familiar with the Wilsons. Dan and Gavin Belson of Be There with Belson podcast. Hallmark of Greatness. John, next week I'm doing a Scrooge film set in the 21st century where Scrooge learns how to text.
What?
Mono and Kira of the boys. I don't know if it's now called Mono Rants at Gen V. I'm not sure. Maria and Ian, Band Liberation Front and Cult Connections. Lovely Rob Jones, who has a free patron talking about hiking and blogging and various bits and pieces.
What?
Free. He's undercutting us by a whole quid. Paul and Sophie at SP Film Viewers. And Punk at What the Fuck Do You Want, who you let down on recording.
No.
Because you were poorly.
I'm fine now, but barely. I don't think people know that I've had to mute this mic about 10 million times.
Yeah, well, your mic's got that lovely colour on it, so every time you tap it, it goes the colour goes off, and it's really fucking distracting from what I'm reading, by the way.
Sorry, mate.
I got eyes like Marty Feldman this whole recording.
Scanning all over the place.
I ain't got nobody.
Classic.
Anyway,
classic. Could never do it.
God, no, we could. We could do all of them, and indeed we shall. Indeed we shall. So listeners, thanks very much for joining us. I've had a lot of fun. I know it's especially short one, under an hour this week. Do join us next episode. I've absolutely no idea where it's going. If we can organise this chap that wants to record with us, it'll be big. But if not, we'll be back with some shite that I've got on DVD, probably.
Something
John, do you want
watched.
to say? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you want to say something nice to these lovely people?
Oh, something nice to these lovely people. I'm going to start saying it again. But no, I don't know what it is, because it's coming up to Christmas, and I don't know why, but I'm looking forward to doing our Christmas season this year.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll need to talk to you about that because I've already got stuff planned. Yeah.
Oh, have you? All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Just everything comes with
Christmas. Yeah, Christmas films are good. We'll go hard at Christmas. We'll go hard and try and get a full month in.
I know. But no, I'm looking forward to the Christmas stuff.
Even though I've got a week's holiday, possibly abroad, and it's not likely to work, is it? We'll see what we can
do. We'll do something. We'll do a couple before you go.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. Well, look, I've been Plenty, although I didn't say that at the start. He's been John, and this has been 95 Things We Learned From watching by mistake The Evil Dead. See ya. Oh.
Dead by dawn!